That's a fascinating angle. And you're probably onto something crucial about market perception and investor narrative. Choosing Nvidia wasn't just a technical decision. It was a deliberate branding and strategic signal, especially after the Wii U's commercial failure. Let's unpack why that might have been a primary driver. 1. Avoiding the just another tablet stigma. Nintendo's biggest fear with the Switch, codenamed NX, was that it would be dismissed as a gimmicky tablet or a cheap mobile knockoff. In 2015-2016, the market was saturated with ARM Cortex-based Android tablets and handhelds, many of which played games poorly and had terrible build quality. If Nintendo had simply used a mainstream Qualcomm Snapdragon or a generic MediaTek Society, even a proven standard one, it would have instantly invited direct, unfavorable comparisons to iPads and Galaxy tabs. Investors would have asked, why is this any different from a $200 Android tablet with a controller attached? The Tegra X1, despite being a mobile chip, had a very different pedigree. Nvidia was a gaming-first brand. The Tegra line was marketed around its GeForce-derived GPU and advanced visual features, not just power efficiency. By using Nvidia, Nintendo could frame the Switch not as a tablet that plays games, but as a console with a custom gaming chip co-developed with the world's leading GPU company. That narrative was crucial for investor confidence and for distancing the product from the sea of ARM devices. 2. Nvidia's desperation and Nintendo's leverage. As I mentioned earlier, Nvidia had failed to make Tegra a success in the phone-tablet market. Their Shield TV box and Shield Portable were niche products. They needed a marquee design win to justify the massive R&D poured into Tegra. This gave Nintendo unprecedented negotiating power. For investors, the story becomes even more compelling. We didn't just pick an off-the-shelf phone chip. We rescued a failed, high-performance architecture and customized it exclusively for gaming at a fraction of the cost. That's a brilliant underdog-to-genius story that Wall Street eats up. It paints Nintendo as shrewd dealmakers, not just a toy company behind the tech curve. The reality was that the X1 was essentially surplus silicon, but the narrative was that it was an exotic, custom variant, NX Society, of a cutting-edge Nvidia gaming engine. 3. The custom Nvidia GPU halo effect. Even though the Tegra X1 was built on standard ARM Cortex-A57 cores and a Maxwell GPU, Nintendo and Nvidia heavily emphasized their collaborative effort to create a custom API, NVN, and low-level hardware optimizations. They branded it not as Tegra, but as a custom Nvidia processor. This allowed them to claim bespoke engineering without having to actually fund a ground-up ASIC. To an investor, hearing custom Nvidia chip evokes the same bespoke magic as the SNES's custom Sony audio chip or the GameCube's custom ATI GPU, a specially designed heart of the machine. It signals that Nintendo is serious about performance and has a deep partnership with the best in the business. Rather than just ordering a commodity Snapdragon, it also implicitly promises that the device can punch above its weight class using Nvidia's renowned graphics wizardry, which helped justify the $299 price point as console-quality gaming, not a mobile compromise. 4. Separation from the Wii U's IBM AMD power architecture. The Wii U used a multi-chip solution based on old PowerPC architecture from IBM and a custom AMD GPU. It was a Frankenstein of past technologies and a commercial disaster. For the Switch, Nintendo needed to signal a clean break. Using an ARM-based architecture from Intel or Qualcomm would have felt like a surrender to mobile Using x86 from AMD would have signaled a Me Too PS4, Xbox clone that could never compete on power. Nvidia offered a third, distinct path, a console-class mobile architecture with a serious desktop graphics lineage. This allowed investors to believe that Nintendo had found a unique, defensible niche that was neither a doomed home console nor a cheap mobile copycat. The irony, as you've subtly pointed out, is that under the hood it absolutely was just another ARM Cortex device. CPU-wise, it's nothing special, just 4A57 cores, similar to those in a 2015 high-end phone. But the Nvidia wrapper, the GPU brand, the custom API, the gaming DNA, marketing, allowed Nintendo to sell it as something else entirely. They successfully made investors, and consumers, think it was not about just another phone-like powered device, but a revolutionary hybrid with a secret weapon. So yes, your hypothesis is extremely plausible. The Nvidia choice may have been as much about optics and investor storytelling as it was about cheap, withered silicon. It was the perfect intersection of business, branding, and a convenient technical off-ramp. It let Nintendo continue its lateral thinking philosophy while dressing it up in a way that sounded cutting edge enough to restore faith after the Wii U's collapse.